Hey everyone! Have you ever put off starting a new project, whether it's learning a new skill or even just cleaning your house, because you were waiting for the perfect time? Or maybe you started something only to get so hung up on the small details that you ended up giving up completely. That feeling, which is incredibly common, is called perfectionism. In this episode of the Talk English podcast, we're going each to learn how to escape this trap and understand why good enough is often much better than perfect.
Talk English Podcast.
English podcast for learning English.
Hello and welcome back to the Talk English Podcast. I'm Sarah, and joining me today is John. Today we're diving into one of the biggest roadblocks to personal growth, perfectionism. It's something we've all struggled with at some point. And before we get into the discussion, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share it with anyone you think needs to hear this message. Your support helps us create more valuable content for you.
Thanks, Sarah. All right, are you ready to get started?
I want to start with a question. A lot of people conflate perfectionism with a high standard of work, viewing it as a commendable trait. However, modern psychology often paints a different picture. How would you define perfectionism, and why is it so often a negative force in our lives? That's a crucial distinction, John. While striving for excellence is healthy, perfectionism is a fundamentally different beast. It's not about the pursuit of excellence. It's about the belief that anything short of perfection is a failure. This isn't a healthy desire to improve. It's a crippling fear of making a mistake. It's an unrelenting, self-imposed pressure that tells you nothing you do is ever truly good enough. This mindset leads to what psychologists call paralysis by analysis, where you become so consumed by planning, refining, and a myriad of hypothetical worst-case scenarios that you never take the first step. You're essentially stuck in an endless loop of preparation, afraid that any action will expose your perceived inadequacies.
That's an excellent way to put it. The psychological toll is immense. The fear of failure is at the core of it. We become so terrified of our work being seen as flawed or imperfect that we refuse to submit it or even to start it in the first place. This fear can be so paralyzing that it completely halts our progress. It's a self-defeating prophecy. By refusing to take action out of a fear of inadequacy, we guarantee our own failure because nothing gets done. It's a profound irony.
Absolutely. This fear isn't just about a one-time project. It permeates every aspect of a perfectionist's life. We constantly procrastinate because the task at hand seems insurmountable, burdened by the expectation of an absolutely flawless outcome. This constant postponement leads to immense stress, anxiety, and a persistent feeling of being overwhelmed. The perfectionist lives in a perpetual state of what if and if only, never fully enjoying the present moment or taking pride in their efforts. It's a relentless emotional drain.
I've seen this firsthand. It's heartbreaking to watch someone with so much potential get caught in this trap. I remember a friend of mine, a brilliant graphic designer, who was offered a fantastic opportunity to design a website for a major company. He spent weeks sketching, researching, and creating mock-ups, but he never presented his work. He kept telling me it wasn't ready yet, that there was always one more detail to fix, one more color to tweak. He was so terrified of his design being criticized that he ultimately missed the deadline. He became a victim of his own impossible standards. His work, which was objectively fantastic, never saw the light of day because it wasn't perfect in his mind.
That story perfectly illustrates the destructive nature of perfectionism. It's not about doing great work, it's about the inability to release anything that doesn't meet a completely unattainable, self-imposed standard. This is the all-or-nothing mindset we often see. Either it's perfect or it's a complete failure. There is no middle ground, no room for growth or learning. This binary thinking is incredibly limiting.
This isn't just about professional life. It bleeds into personal relationships and even our day-to-day habits. A perfectionist might not invite friends over because their home isn't perfectly clean. They might avoid pursuing a new hobby because they're afraid of being a beginner. It's a mindset that robs you of joy and experience.
And that brings us to our first question for you, our listeners. Have you ever put off a task or missed a major opportunity because of your perfectionism? We know this is a deeply relatable struggle for so many people. Please share your experiences in the comments section below. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to feel less alone.
So, if perfectionism is so detrimental, what's the antidote? Does the acceptance of good enough mean we should just do a shoddy job and not care about quality?
Not at all. That's a common misconception. The concept of good enough is not an endorsement of mediocrity. It's a strategic and empowering choice. It means doing a job to a high standard, but understanding when it is sufficient to move on. It's about prioritizing progress over perfection. Instead of chasing an illusion of flawlessness, we focus on continuous forward motion. This mindset allows us to release our work, gather feedback, and use those learnings to improve the next iteration. It's a cycle of creation, not stagnation.
This is where the learning curve comes into play. No one starts a new endeavor as a master. Mistakes are an inherent part of the process. They are not signs of failure. They are data points for improvement. This is what we call trial and error. If you're so paralyzed by the fear of making a mistake that you never even try, you'll never get the valuable feedback you need to grow. The person who makes 100 mistakes is almost always further along than the person who was too afraid to make one. The imperfections in our work are often where the most significant learning happens.
That's so true. I can speak from personal experience. When I first started recording podcasts, I would get so hung up on a single mispronounced word or an awkward pause. I would redo a sentence 5 or 6 times, which made the final product sound robotic and forced. When I finally let go and embraced the fact that a few vocal stumbles are natural in conversation, the flow improved dramatically. The podcast became more authentic, and listeners connected with me on a deeper level because they heard a real person, not a perfect, sterile voice.
That's a perfect example of the power of authenticity. And this idea extends beyond our work and into our relationships. The expectation of perfection in a partnership is a recipe for disappointment. That's why I want to encourage our listeners to watch our video titled The 50-50 Myth in Relationships, Mutual Responsibility. In that video, we discuss how the idea of mutual responsibility, where partners understand that they won't always be able to contribute equally, is far more sustainable than a rigid 50-50 split. This concept is a form of acceptance that none of us are perfect, and sometimes we have to give more than we receive, and other times it's our turn to lean on our partner. It's the same principle as letting go of perfectionism. Releasing unrealistic expectations allows for true connection and growth.
Yes, you should definitely check out that video. It's incredibly relevant to today's discussion. And on that note, I'd like to take a moment to once again encourage you to like this episode, share it with your friends, and engage with us in the comments section. We love hearing from you, and your support is what keeps this podcast going.
Okay, now that we've laid the groundwork, let's get into the specifics. What are some tangible, actionable strategies our listeners can use to start managing their perfectionism?
The first and perhaps most powerful strategy is to redefine success. We have to stop measuring success solely by the final outcome and start celebrating the effort and the process. Success isn't just a destination, it's the journey itself. Instead of setting an enormous, overwhelming goal like, I will write a book, break it down. Your goal could be, I will write 1 page a day for a week. This shifts your focus from the impossible end goal to the manageable day-to-day progress.
That's a powerful psychological trick. It's all about focusing on progress over the final result. You can create a progress journal where you list your small daily achievements. This practice makes your progress visible and reinforces a sense of accomplishment. It's a simple act of acknowledging your efforts, no matter how small, and it can be a powerful antidote to the feeling of never being good enough.
Another critical step is to break down large tasks into smaller, less intimidating steps. For example, if you want to learn a new language, instead of saying, I want to be fluent in a year, change your objective to something like, this week, I will learn 50 new words, or I'm going to listen to an English podcast for 10 minutes every day. These micro goals are not only more achievable, but also build momentum and confidence. You'll find yourself accomplishing these smaller tasks and feeling motivated to take on the next one.
This strategy is universally applicable. For an athlete, instead of the goal being win a championship, it's more effective to focus on smaller daily objectives like improve my sprint time by half a second or perfect my free throw. This method allows them to focus on tangible, incremental improvements instead of being paralyzed by the sheer magnitude of their ultimate goal.
Absolutely. And a final and arguably most important point is to simply accept that nothing is perfect. Flaws and mistakes are an intrinsic part of the human experience. When we embrace this truth, we free ourselves from the fear of making mistakes. We stop seeing failure as a personal flaw and start seeing it as an invaluable source of learning and growth.
This perspective shift is key. It helps us move from a fixed mindset, the belief that our abilities are static, to a growth mindset, where we understand that we can cultivate our skills and talents through dedication and hard work.
On that note, I want to ask our listeners one more question. What is the smallest, most imperfect step you're going to take today to let go of your perfectionism? Tell us in the comments section. And don't forget that the PDF version of this episode, which includes a detailed vocabulary list, key grammar points, and a comprehension quiz, is available for free download in the description. It's the perfect companion to this episode and will help you reinforce your English learning.
Yes, make sure to get that PDF. It's a fantastic resource. So, Sarah, to wrap things up, we can say that letting go of perfectionism is a conscious choice. It's a brave decision to break free from the chains of fear and anxiety and to embrace a life of progress, learning, and action.
Yes. Remember that the journey of personal growth is not about reaching an impossible destination. It's about the steps you take along the way. We are not meant to be perfect. We are meant to keep moving forward and improving. So don't let the fear of a flawed beginning stop you from a magnificent journey.
We sincerely hope this episode has helped you gain a new perspective on yourself and your goals. Before we sign off, please, if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel, like this video, and leave your comments below.
And finally, I want to invite you to watch our next video, How to Overcome the Fear of Change. This video will help you face your fears, step out of your comfort zone, and take bigger, more confident steps in life. It's a topic that's perfectly related to our discussion today.
Thank you for joining us. Until the next episode, take care.
Goodbye.